Now that Grant Hunter has admitted to being a paid hitman that had targeted Edinburgh crime boss Marc Webley after he had taunted Marc Richardson and his associates, after Marc Richardson's associate had got with Marc's ex-partner and the mother of his two boys and aligned herself with his rivals, more information has now come to light. Grant Hunter was nothing more than a disposable tool. He did not make a living as a bonafide hitman, despite there being a £20,000 bounty, a hit placed on Marc Webley's head. Grant had to be ploughed with Class A in order to calm his nerves. After the white had settled in his bloodstream, his nerves were calm enough to scan Marc's social media posts and watch his videos and find out Marc had told everybody that he would be hosting a Hogmanay at the Anchor Inn in Granton, Edinburgh, after he spent the last few weeks going in and out of bouts of anger, grief, sadness and rage, so much so that Marc had been labelled an unstable and a madman. Grant Hunter travelled to the pub just before 11:50 p.m. on New Year's Eve of 2023 in a red Hyundai Tuscan. It was said that he had not gone there alone. The red Hyundai Tuscan had been fitted with false plates. Grant Hunter then parked a few feet away from the pub, turned the car lights off and then waited. Marc had been spotted heading outside the pub with his pal Stewart Pearson. It was at that moment that Grant Hunter opened the driver's side door, stepped out of the car and then steadied himself. He then walked over to both Marc and Stewart Pearson. Now at the time, Grant Hunter had donned on his balaclava and put his hood up, but after he crossed the road, Grant then decided to remove his balaclava and his hood. He wanted Marc Webley to know that in his final moments, it was Grant Hunter that killed him. Marc, Stewart and Grant had then spent less than a total of 90 seconds exchanging words in the cold. That was when Grant Hunter rummaged through his pockets and then took out a Slovakian-made GUN and then aimed at both Marc and Stewart and then back at Marc again. Edinburgh High Court heard how the hitman had relentlessly pressed the trigger and struck both Marc Webley and Stewart Pearson. While Stewart Pearson immediately went to the ground after being struck, Marc had taken a step back, pulled out his blade and then tried to defend himself. However, the blade was no match for a GUN and Marc had no other choice but to retreat, run, but that was when Grant had fired again and Marc was struck in the back. The volley of GUN fire was caught on CCTV mere minutes before the New Year bell rang. CCTV also showed a barefaced Grant Hunter running away from the scene after walking towards Marc and killing him, pressing the trigger 4 times. 34-year-old Grant Hunter then fled the scene and drove away in the red Hyundai Tuscan, leaving both Stewart Pearson and Marc Webley in a pool of red. Marc was transported to the Edinburgh Royal Infirmary, but he was declared dead at 12:58 a.m. Now the court heard that Grant had made an admission that he had taken the job because it paid a substantial amount of money. Though he had bemoaned that he had not been paid immediately, he was angry that he had to wait for his payment. Now this was after police reported that Marc Webley had been killed. Now, as to who Grant Hunter carried out the job on behalf of, that has not been revealed. However, it was most definitely a rival of Marc Webley. Now Grant in the aftermath had also laughed that his victim did not live to see the bells on the Hogmanay. Now as part of the same crime, Grant Hunter's friend had admitted to the police that he had supplied Grant Hunter with Class A and cash, as well as helping to dispose of the GUN, while Grant's partner Emma McVie admitted to attempting to help destroy evidence, like mainly washing the clothes that Gary Hunter was wearing at the time the M was committed. There are absolutely no winners in these type of cases. Condolences. Stay safe. Safe.